Guys, have you ever had one of those days where absolutely nothing was wrong, but somehow nothing felt exciting either? Not a bad day, not a great day, just one of those weird days where you keep picking up your phone, putting it down, staring at the ceiling, looking out the window, then checking your phone again as if something magical is going to happen in the next 30 seconds. And somehow, after doing that for an hour, you're even more bored than before. Because that's exactly what happened to me. It started on a Saturday afternoon, the kind of afternoon where the sun was shining outside, but for some reason I had zero motivation to do anything. My friends were busy, there were no new games I wanted to play, every video online felt the same. Even my favorite snacks somehow looked boring. I was lying on my bed scrolling through random videos. 1, 2, 10, 20. Guys, you know that feeling when you're scrolling so much that your thumb is working harder than your brain? That was me. I kept looking for something funny, something entertaining, something that would magically improve my mood, but nothing worked. After a while, I threw my phone onto the bed beside me and just stared at the ceiling. The ceiling, by the way, had suddenly become the most interesting thing in my room. I started counting tiny marks on it. Then I realized, wait a second. Why was I sitting around waiting for something else to make me happy? Why was I acting like happiness was a delivery package that someone needed to bring to my door? That thought stuck in my head. So I got up. Not because I had a brilliant plan, honestly, I was still completely bored, but I decided to do something. Anything. The first thing I did was stand in front of the mirror. Now, guys, don't pretend you've never done this. Everyone has. I started making ridiculous faces, the kind of faces that would probably get me kicked out of a serious school photo. At first, I looked completely ridiculous. Then somehow I started laughing. Not because the faces were good, actually they were terrible, but that was exactly why they were funny. For the first time that day, I genuinely laughed, not because of a video, not because of a joke. Just because I allowed myself to be silly. That tiny moment changed the whole afternoon. Suddenly, my room didn't feel as boring anymore. I opened one of my old drawers and started looking through random stuff I hadn't touched in years. Guys, that drawer was basically an archaeological site. There were old notebooks, broken pens, random stickers, a toy I thought I had lost forever. And then I found something dangerous, an old school notebook. Now, if you've ever discovered your old notebooks years later, you already know what happens next. You open them and immediately regret it. The first page looked normal, the second page looked normal, then I found drawings. Guys, I thought I was an artist. I really did. Apparently, younger me believed every drawing was a masterpiece. I found what was supposed to be a dragon. It looked like a confused chicken with wings. Then I found a superhero design. The superhero's arms were different lengths. One leg was bigger than the other, and somehow I had written "Cool Hero" above it, as if nobody would notice. I laughed so hard, I almost fell off my chair. The funny thing was that I wasn't laughing at myself in a mean way. I was laughing because younger me had so much confidence. He wasn't worried about being perfect, he just enjoyed creating things. Somewhere along the way, I think I forgot how fun that could be. That discovery gave me another idea. I grabbed a piece of paper and decided to draw something. Guys, it was terrible, absolutely terrible, but it was fun, and that's what mattered. A little later, I wandered into the kitchen, not because I was hungry. Actually, maybe I was. It's hard to tell sometimes. I opened the refrigerator, nothing interesting, closed it, walked away, came back 3 minutes later, opened it again, still nothing. Then I started laughing because I realized how ridiculous that was, as if a giant chocolate cake was going to appear during those 3 minutes. I imagined a nature documentary narrator describing me. Here we observe a teenager returning to the refrigerator for the 4th time despite already knowing the results of previous investigations. Guys, I nearly laughed myself into a headache. The fridge hadn't changed, but somehow the situation became hilarious. As the afternoon continued, I decided to play some music. Not because I was talented, trust me, I am not, but sometimes music does something special. A song started playing that I hadn't heard in years. Immediately, memories started showing up. Old school memories, old summer memories, moments with friends, moments that seemed ordinary back then but felt valuable now. Without even noticing, I started singing along. Badly, very badly, the kind of singing that would make professional singers file a complaint. But nobody was there, nobody cared, and honestly, that freedom felt amazing. I wasn't trying to impress anyone, I wasn't trying to sound good, I was just having fun. Then came one of the funniest moments of the day. I found an old voice recording on my phone. Guys, never listen to old voice recordings. It's a trap. I pressed play. The voice sounded like me, but also not like me. Why did I sound so different? Why was I talking so fast? Why was I laughing at my own jokes? For the next 15 minutes, I sat there listening to old recordings and laughing at things I had completely forgotten. Some of them weren't even that funny, but the memories behind them were. And that's when I noticed something. Hours had passed. Hours. Earlier, I was bored out of my mind. Now, I was smiling. Nothing huge had happened. I hadn't gone anywhere, I hadn't bought anything, I hadn't won anything. The only thing that changed was how I spent my time. Instead of waiting for happiness to find me, I started creating little moments of happiness myself. A funny face, an old notebook, a terrible drawing, a random song, an embarrassing memory, a ridiculous fridge investigation. Tiny things, but together they completely changed my day. Guys, I think that's something a lot of people forget. We often think happiness has to be big. A vacation, a new phone, a special event, a huge achievement. And those things are great. But sometimes happiness is much smaller. Sometimes it's laughing at a drawing you made years ago. Sometimes it's singing badly when nobody is listening. Sometimes it's remembering embarrassing moments that have somehow become funny stories. Sometimes it's simply being comfortable enough to enjoy your own company. Because the truth is, you're going to spend your whole life with yourself. You might as well learn how to make that person smile. And funny enough, the best part of that entire day wasn't something someone else gave me. It wasn't a gift, it wasn't a message, it wasn't a video. It was realizing that I could make myself laugh, that I could turn a boring afternoon into a good memory, that I didn't always have to wait for something exciting to happen. Sometimes I could create the excitement myself. And every time I remember that day, I think back to the exact moment it started. The moment I was lying on my bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering why nothing felt interesting. The moment I asked myself the question that changed the entire afternoon. Guys, have you ever had one of those days where absolutely nothing was wrong, but somehow nothing felt exciting either?